The Chiefs are playing the Bengals, and this is the second game on Sunday, AFC title game.
Yep.
The game opened at Bengals +3, and it opened at 52.5. I bet it at Bengals +3, 51.5. The 52.5, I think, was available maybe for 35 seconds.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got it at 52.5, but this line has been just now it's 2.5 for the Bengals, I think. And the
Yep.
line is and the total's at 47. I mean, obviously it's all around Patrick Mahomes, but fuck, what an interesting matchup here. Yeah, 2.5. Kansas City is now a 2.5 point favorite. I mean, 2.5 point underdog.
So yeah, we joke all the time, but those are fireable lines that they hung up there. Like people that hung those lines, I don't want to make like this is something we'll talk in the offseason about where the lines come from. But this kind of shows you that all lines are created equally. A lot of these books, when they try to go off on their own and make their own lines, they get, destroyed. So classic couple books opened just to get feelers. So that's why I won't even go off the early lines just because I couldn't even get that much money down. We already talked about it. To me, the biggest thing was they hung a 1.5 all of Monday on Cincy. And I tweeted out maybe it was Sunday night that a lot of the early big money was just coming in heavy on Cincy. So just let people know where I was at in the sense of if you had a future on the Chiefs, you got them at 10 or 11 to 1. It's an easy spot to take a position on Cincinnati. So I already talked to Chad about this. Say I had 50K, me and my group, on the Chiefs at 10 to 1. That's the chance of winning $500,000. Obviously, we'd be idiots not to put at least 150, 200K on Cincy at a money line or plus 1.5, whatever we wanted to do, just in the sense that Mahomes had a serious injury. Like we saw how different that game was once he had that injury and how he just wasn't running or moving outside the pocket. Now, do I think it's worth 5 or 6 points? No, but I think it's moved this much. I think Chad already alluded to it a little bit of the early money has just been so heavy, Bengals, and nothing's touched Chiefs. Like pros like me are just going to wait. Like give us +3, and then we'll come back on the other side. But the books put themselves in a horrible position. They opened a line that was bad that I think every Joe Schmo in the world teased the Chiefs. I mean, not Chiefs, the Bengals up to 7.5. Maybe they teased the 49ers with them or the Eagles with them. And now they'll do the other side with the Chiefs. They'll just tease the Chiefs up to 7.5, 8.5 now and do stuff like that. So I don't know what the book was thinking, Chad. This is an interesting line. So early bet, me and Chad would have been all over Cincy in the under. I still like the under. Still would take a position, but obviously we wish it was still at 47. That's such a key number.
It's at 46.5 right now.
So not ideal. But this is one of those where we'll really have a pick for it on Thursday. Like right now, me and Chad, if you want to make a bet with us, we're betting the under. Like already on the under. I would only throw a little bit though, just in hopes that maybe it does get back up to 47. Maybe some report will come out. Mahomes looks unfazed in practice. Whatever BS they're going to be throwing out there all week. The Chiefs media, whoever's going to be doing stuff. So I don't want to come in here and be like, oh, me and Chad already got the best of number. No bet this week. It's just we'll never be that show. So to me, we'll have more something official, but I think people already can tell like we want to take the Chiefs. We want to take the Chiefs at +3 at home. We want to have the public all over this Cincy team. This is a good spot to be in. Mahomes with no one on him, that's a nice position to be in. And if you look at the historical data, and I know it's not a big sample, but it's just what the playoffs have been these last couple of years. It's just not. I'm not saying it's not smart to take the dog on the road in the playoffs, but we've seen in these games it's 27%. So if you're taking the favorite on the road, you're hitting a 27% clip in these playoffs. So I don't know. It's like looking at this number now, I'm trying to find us the best number, Chad. It keeps moving up and down. So that's what I'm saying. So the last 10 postseasons, it's a small sample, but it's real. The favorites have gone 3-8-2 on the road. So we already have trends backing us to want to take Mahomes, and we already knew we kind of wanted to do it. So it's one of those, if you want Cincy, I would grab it now because I do think it'll get to the 3, which is a key number. But I'm having a hard time with this one this week, Chad, because we already talked about Joe. Joe is a damn killer. Like the way I feel about Mahomes, I feel about Burrow. It's just even if Mahomes has the lead, I'm just never going to feel comfortable. I'm never going to count out Burrow. So between the two matchups, obviously this is the best quarterback matchup, Mahomes and Burrow. I mean, it's hard to say Allen's still number 1 or 2 when Burrow just beat him in his own home park. But Burrow is just, he breaks all the rules, man. Like, he's cost me a decent penny. Like, we joked about it in the Action app. We had bet them. That was our most winning team for both of us. I'm slowly gonna start giving it back here because I hate that I hate that I'm even fading Joe. So that's what I mean. Like, I'll probably be on the Chiefs, but if you're asking me what my biggest bet in this game will most likely be, it's gonna be the under with Chad.
Yeah. I do want to ask you right now, the only book that's offering below 2, Cincinnati -1.5, Kansas City +1.5, FanDuel. Every other book is at 2.5.
So listeners of this show should terrify you. FanDuel is the most public book. It's the biggest book in America. So they're they of all the books we talked about getting slammed with Bengals money, they have the biggest percentage, bar none, of every sports book. So fuck, man, that would actually terrify me if I was on the Bengals side. That's really interesting. There are only ones left under 2, and we talk all the time. That is such a key number. So shit, Chad, if we come in here Thursday and it's still at that 1.5, everyone that's listening to the show, that should be setting off alarms in your head, because that is a funky number. That they're just, the fact they haven't hit 2. To me, this number should be 2 at every book at this point. So that's interesting. FanDuel still 1.5.
Yep, 1.5. And it's moving though. It's going to move. It literally, the juice on it.
It should.
Just a second ago moved. It might be because people are listening to the show.
Yeah. Which, again, if you want to grab Cincy, I mean, that's the book you want to go to right now, because that's wild. They're still under 2.
Yeah. Fascinating. It's fascinating to me also. Look, we were lucky enough to bet the Bengals +3, to bet the under 51.5.
Yeah. Like, again, I got it for such a penny. I'm not even gonna count it. Like, my bigger bet was, you talked about the under. I hit it 50, 49, 48, 47. Still take it at 46.5.
Well, at some point, let's say I only bet it at the 51.5, and I didn't bet it at the 50, 49, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I didn't even see it. Like, to me, I'm not looking at it the way you are.
Yeah.
I'm like everybody else. I saw it at 51.5. I bet it. No joke. I think by the time I got back into the Action Network app, it was at 47.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what happened with the Eagles line too, which we'll talk about.
It skipped all these other numbers. So at what point do we start to think, oh, maybe we bet the over and we try to middle this thing?
It all depends your betting style. Like, if you want to do that, throw a really small amount, you could do it, or you could do the Ravel. The Ravel move is you just wait until you do it live, and you do it way too much. Where Darren will bet it like 10 times.
We cannot give credible betting advice on this show by naming something after Darren Ravel.
He'll bet a good number, and then I'll see him go live and bet like 10 overs live, where it's like,
oh yeah,
dude, why don't you just keep your under? You already won. Now you're chasing these overs. So I don't know. It's tough to make a choice on those. You're trying to hit these middles where the true middle play, I mean, obviously it's the easiest bet ever, is if you're like Chad and you got Cincy +3 for 1 unit, you throw 0.3 units on the Chiefs once they get the +3. I mean,
yeah,
a 6-point middle.
For.
Yeah, that's insane. Now, when you're talking about totals, those Bucks Cowboys. So I think the Bucks Cowboys opened, it might have been 47. It went all the way down to 44.5. People are asking if they should play that middle. And I said, I just wouldn't do it, because the books are so sharp at this time of year. They know exactly what they're doing. When they hold a position on a line, usually that means it's sharp money coming on the other side. I'm almost positive that Bucks Cowboys game landed on that number, like landed on 44.
Well, we know it landed at 45.
45. So it must have been 45.
We were with Matt Mitchell, who had the under 45.5,
right,
and nearly lost his mind.
So that's why I don't want to be telling people to screw around with those, because the books are so smart. But they've clearly made a mistake here with this Cincy number. So yes, if you got the +3, you almost have to play a small amount on the Chiefs side once it comes back to their way. It's just too much value not to, in a game that easily could have a blowout. I mean, we've seen these playoffs compared to last year. We've had a bunch of blowouts this year. We didn't really have that last year. That's kind of the way it is in the playoffs. Like, these teams are so good. Like we saw with Cincy, once they get rolling, or like the Eagles last week, you can't really stop it. It's just these teams are too good to let these teams back in. So to me, I'd go very small. I'm planning to play in middle here. If you got the best of a number, I would just enjoy it. Like unless you're a big better, what are you chasing? Like you already got a great number. Just sit back and enjoy the game, especially if you have futures.
I do wonder. So we're talking about this game to 2.5 in a lot of places, hoping it gets to 3. If we do want to play the middle, be a 6-point, difference there.
Crazy.
Tomorrow is such a key day. It's Tuesday. And by the way, reminder, you want to get this podcast at 5:30 in the afternoon instead of 11:30. It comes out in the volume feed, the herd feed at 11:30. It comes out in the favorite feed. If you subscribe to the favorites, 5:30 in the afternoon. Subscribe directly to the favorites. Is Mahomes will practice tomorrow or he won't. That will have a massive impact, I think, on the line.
I'll give you my Simon guarantee. Mahomes doesn't play this week, I will retire. Chad will have a new host for the Super Bowl. That's my guarantee. I don't know. I just can't see it happening. I mean, people are asking about Henny, what I would make this number. So fucking hard because I know the public's going to drive it up. So it's like, all right, say I do make it 4.5, 5. It's going to be 7 just because the public's going to bet it up to that number. I mean, they're going to overreact so hard if it is Henny, especially the way the numbers move now. I can't see it not moving another 4 points at this point if it is Henny. So I'll never understand the movement of this line, but it makes more sense in the sense of the pros are aligned with the public and they like the Bengals. They like them in this spot. They think this is a good matchup for them, especially when you have a hobbled Mahomes. So,
dude, I agree. I think Mahomes is 100% going to play.
Yeah.
I'm just saying tomorrow, if he practices, doesn't practice, how he looks is going to have an impact on the line. If you're looking to play the middle, if you're looking to get the best of the number, if you worry that it's going to get to 3 or not get to 3, tomorrow, if he practices, it might go back down to 2, right? If he doesn't practice, it could go up to 3. So that's all I'm saying. I'm probably going to wait. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait and either I'm going to get it at 3 and play the full middle, or I'm not going to do it at all. I'm not going to feel antsy about playing 2.5 to get a middle.
Yeah, and again, that's probably right. Like we probably will see movement just because of the public's view of Mahomes right now. But I don't know, Chad. Just feels like it's only going to be pros on the Chiefs. I mean, the Bengals were so dominant against that Bills team, and the Bills were the darling. I mean, we saw, we like the Bills, but you saw some people loved the Bills.
Yeah,
like, that line steamed up last week. So those people are guaranteed to be being on the Bengals, and now you're taking in all the unknown. People do not like betting the unknown, and that's what the Chiefs really are right now. So the scary part to me is someone that wants to back the Chiefs is there's zero resistance. Like no pro money has come in. They've literally let this number cross a bunch of key numbers. 2.5 is a key number. So Chad could be right. You could see this number drop if Mahomes does show up and he's running and looking good in practice, but it's also one of those where it's like, I don't think you're going to be shocked at all if we come here Thursday and this number's 3. It just feels like that's where it's headed at this point.
All right. So if you can get the 1.5 from the Bengals right now, you take it. If you're feeling antsy, wait, see if you can get the Chiefs at +3 later in the week. Still take the under at 46.5. I'm feeling less convinced about that, I think, than you are.
Well, does it make you feel better knowing in Joe Burrow's entire career in the playoffs, he's never scored more than 28 points?
Yep.
It's the defense that's really been this unit that's really shown them these last 2 years. So
look, and by the way, the Bengals defense gave up the 6th fewest points per play in the NFL this year. The Bengals defense was top 5 in red zone touchdown percentage this year. We've said it many times in this podcast. When we started riding the Bengals, it wasn't because of Joe Burrow. It's because DJ Reader came back.
Yeah.
And he has been dominant in every game that he's played. So
did I tickle your belly there a little bit? Makes you feel a little better.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true.